Well, hi all, welcome back to the channel. Well, it's day 3 of the show here, only I'm not at the show. I'm in the various campgrounds here in Bad Kissengen, and without question, one of the best spectacles of overland vehicles you're going to see anywhere in the world. So if your intention is to come to the show, I would say come on the first day or two. Yes, it's really busy. Yes, you're going to struggle to get a space, but actually come as early as possible. We arrived here on the Wednesday afternoon about 2 o'clock and it was pretty empty, but by 5 o'clock it was absolutely heaving and there was queues for hundreds of meters waiting to get into the campgrounds. So before we go any further, it's probably a good time to try and illustrate the 4 camp areas. You can see they're colour-coded with Camp Area 1 by far the largest and the entrance by the Aldi. Camps 1 and 2 almost merge into one another. Camp 2 is actually bigger than it appears on the map, with camps 3 and 4 further up the hill. So the cost to stop in any of the campgrounds is €25 per night per vehicle, and there's an additional €5 per person per night on top of that, and of course that doesn't include the cost of the show. So depending on how long you're going to stay, you can work it out. What I would say is it's very much worth it. It's worth noting that you can fly drones at the showground, however you can't fly them within the camp areas. Now you can't actually book any camping here, you literally turn up, first come first served, and it is a bit chaotic when you arrive. It's basically a case of if there's a space then you take it, and it goes into the night, so even by sort of 11 o'clock at night people are still turning up, still trying to get a space. So particularly on the first night it's really busy, there's lots of noise, so think about where you want to camp. I'm going to start with Camp Area 1. It's closest to town with an Aldi supermarket on the right hand side. As you come in, you can't fail to miss it. It's really important to note that all the camp areas are fields designated for the event and not campsites. And you can easily walk or cycle into town. If you're in the market for a used left-hand drive overlander, there's plenty on offer here. Whether it's a DIY or professional build, from €80,000 upwards, it'll take you at least a day, if not 2, to check them all out. But remember, if your intention is to register in the UK and the vehicle is under 30 years old, you're going to pay 20% import tax, an additional 10% duty, and attain a certificate of conformity, adding significantly to your original purchase price. So we're in campground 1 and it's without question the busiest, largest, noisiest campground here at Bad Kissengen. But what you get here is atmosphere and people who want to party, people who want to have a good time. And again, there's just, the usual fantastic array of vehicles. The stage is here, there's some food here, you can get a coffee. We've got some toilets, some showers, and they're dotted throughout the various campgrounds. Ice cream parlour just over there, and this sort of just leads into the wooded area, and yeah, it's pretty busy, particularly at night. So throughout the campgrounds you've got lots of portaloos, so there's no shortage of toilets, lots of places to wash your hands. So if you've got a really basic rig, even if you're in a car and a tent, there's somewhere you can get a shower for €3. Obviously use the toilet, and there's lots of restaurants and other facilities nearby. There's an Aldi shop right beside Camp 1 as well, which is always good to know. So we've been really fortunate with the weather this year. It rained a lot on day 1 in the afternoon, but by then most people had been here. So all the campgrounds were actually relatively intact. I can imagine if it's wet beforehand and wet throughout the show, then lots of heavy vehicles manoeuvring about, it's just going to get chewed up. And if you look at some of the older videos from the previous years, it's just a mud bath. Bear in mind it's late morning, day 3 of the show, and it's pretty subdued, particularly compared to the first few days, and most people are enjoying the show right now, making it the perfect time for a walk around. So within Camp 1, there's lots of little sort of patches of ground that makes up Camp 1, and some of which you've got to drive through the trees, brings you out into these, big openings, and that then takes you into another little area where, smaller vehicles can park and so on. So there's no shortage of space. Everyone tends to get in, although get here early. Some people only come to the show for a day, maybe two, and you'll note that everything's pretty crammed in. It's just a matter of finding a space. And randomly dotted about are rigs for sale, such as this Iveco Tracker 6x6 with a 13-litre engine and 440 brake horsepower. More toilets and some weird and, well, more creative rigs. Some old timers, such as this beautifully refurbished Unimog, to the more modern and simplistic, but with big ideas. So by now you're probably getting a feeling for what it's like here. I mean, you've got some bikes, we've got normal vans, two-wheel drive vehicles, four-wheel drive vehicles. Of course, there's just everything here. And it's quite difficult actually to pin down a favourite. I mean, to be honest with you, I do like the old stuff. So when I've seen some of the old MANs and some of the really old Mercedes, 911s, 914s, I love all that. Next up, Camp Area 2. So I'm currently in Camp 2 and it's relatively flat. I wouldn't say it's absolutely rammed, unlike Camp 1. And if you want to be away from all that real sort of noise and hustle and bustle, then this is maybe a good option. But throughout all the campsites you'll see there's vehicles for sale. Some of the vehicles are 4x4s, some are DIY conversions, some are professional, and there's every price range. I mean, this Iveco behind me, this sort of light blue Iveco, it's 220,000 euros. But there's used vehicles here for 300, 400, 500,000 euros. And there's a few smaller bits and pieces round about this sort of 100,000 mark, but you're really getting into sort of smaller vans. There's a number of options with Camp 2. Similar to Camp 1, it's made up of a number of parcels of land, mostly flat, such as this one. And there's a number of entrances, again with plenty of toilets. This route leads you down to the terraces, as you can see here on the right, and then onto another larger, flatter area. So just be aware, it doesn't matter what campground you're on, you have to get the bus to the show. You can't take your own vehicle whatsoever. It's about a 15-minute ride from any of the car parks. I mean, all the car parks are pretty much in the same kind of vicinity. There's lots and lots of buses. I mean, the most you're going to wait really is about sort of 15 minutes. So in amongst the big Mercedes, the 6x6 and the Unimogs and all the incredible kit here, we've got something really, really special. And it just brings a smile to my face. And it's here. And I've got Kai here, who's the owner.
Hi.
Kai, how far have you come in this for the show?
Yeah, 240 kilometers in 6.5 hours. That is fantastic.
What's the maximum speed?
Oh, 64
kilometers. And what does it weigh?
740 kilos.
And you've got all your camping stuff in the back?
Yes, it's all for camping.
Yeah.
I built it all myself.
Wow.
Yeah, and I sleep here. My daughter is driving with me. Oh, and here we
Wow, this is where you sleep.
Yes.
Wow.
For one or for two persons.
Yeah.
It's okay for two.
Yes, and you've got your fridge over here.
Yes.
You got your coffee.
Yeah.
What else do you need?
My cook, benzene cook.
Ah, okay, yeah, you've got your little burner.
Yes.
Ah, this is great. Well, I love this. This is so good.
Yeah, thank you.
We're just seeing all these incredible rigs and we come across this.
Okay.
And I think that this is brilliant. So, hey, thank
Okay.
you. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, bye. I love the diverse nature of not only the rigs, but of course the people. and always with good humour. And they come here from all over the world to celebrate all things overland, quite often in ex-military vehicles or like this Swiss couple in an old fire truck. So this rig is the same as ours, but don't worry, it hasn't had a hard life. It's a wrap, probably to look less shiny and lessen the chances of being hassled in poorer countries. So Camp 2 is actually made up of a number of terraces and a larger area down below. The terraces are probably only suited for small to medium sized vehicles. We leave Camp Area 2 and head just up the hill to Camp Area 4, the smallest of all the parking areas. It's relatively flat, and although close to the road, it's quiet at night. Although there's toilets here, there doesn't appear to be any showers. But there's no question you see incredible vehicles here, but some really stand out. We've got these old Tatras here, big engines, and they're just fantastic. So Camp Area 4 is where we stopped. It's at the top of the hill, furthest from town, and covers quite a large area, mostly on sloping ground, so you'll need chocks. As I take a ride around on the Go Anywhere scoot, you can really appreciate the scale and vision of the overlanding scene here. There's pretty good facilities with plenty of toilets, hand washing, a shower block, plus a basic breakfast offer, and with great views. From Mancats to Unimogs, Land Rovers, Jeeps, panel vans, pickups, demountables, pop-tops, to crazy artwork. If you're looking for a fantastic weekend and lots of overland inspiration, then this place is for you. Right, for a little dander around the area where we're parking. It's just a gorgeous evening here. Everyone's got a beer on the go.
Or a flamingo.
A little bit of...
What's the flamingo? What's the flamingo for?
Deco.
Mascot.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's having a little bite to eat, just having a little chill at the end of the day, which is quite nice. It's got a really lovely vibe about the place. It's just really interesting just having a look at all the different rigs. I mean, I think that's what I love about all this. It's just, everything's so different. Well, it is the most gorgeous evening here in Bad Kissengen, and the place is just coming alive. And we've got people with fires going, the beer's flowing, people just sitting out, just having a really good time, and look at that sky. Well, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, really appreciate a thumbs up, and if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments, and of course, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.